that time once again, tracks of the week. You know how it works, gonna bang them in a tier list ranging from the rare elite to the hopefully quite rare hell. And let's get straight into it. Future's album came out last Friday. There's a reaction on the channel, and the main single, at least over here, is Wait For You with Drake and Thames. I like this track a lot. I think Thames absolutely kills the hook, and it almost sounds like a sample, but it works really, really well. Future's kind of a little bit vulnerable on this track, a little bit low-key. The snare sound absolutely snaps. Drake's in kind of a passive-aggressive, toxic mode, spitting a little bit, not legendary from any of the artists, but like as a kind of like pre-summery single, something we're going to hear a lot over the next 6 months. I really do think it is a good track. Definitely one of the standouts on the album. So make sure you go and check out that full reaction as well on the channel. Giveon has a new track. It's called Lie Again. Now, there's been a lot of news recently about something to do with Giveon and his ex-girlfriend and songs about his... I don't give a shit. If I'm being honest, I do not give a shit about any of that sort of stuff. The song itself showcases what an amazing voice the guy has. He's moving definitely into a more mainstream pop direction. The video's really high budget. The song kind of peters out for me. It's just okay for me. I think his album could be really good, but I hope that he doesn't lose sight of that kind of really interesting sound that kind of brought him to the dance in the first place. This one just goes into okay for me this week. Internet Money with that man Yeet. I do like saying that. The song is called No Handouts. First time I listened to this, it was just a cacophony. I didn't get it at all. Crashing sounds, Yeet jumping in and out of pocket, in and out of beat, seemingly with no regard for what was going on. But I gave it another chance this morning just before recording, and it started to grow on me a little bit actually. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that either Yeet or this song is on the standard of Playboi Carti when it comes to this kind of slightly strange, punky, electronic rage rap. I don't exactly know the genre. I don't think it's there, but it definitely started to grow on me a bit. And as like a nearly 40-year-old man in England, that's saying something. I'm going to stick it into okay. I'm still keeping tabs, still keeping an eye on Yeet. Am I going to be a Yeet fan anytime soon, apart from saying that word? I don't know, but we shall see. IDK has a new album coming very soon, all produced by K Tronada. He dropped a new single with Denzel Curry. The track is called Dog Food, and it's fucking good, man. The production is electric, and I don't just mean the style of music. Really, really good. IDK delivers in the first part of the song, kind of vibes, and then it moves into a really strong verse from Denzel Curry, who's once again showcasing his levels and levels and levels in this game, despite getting into arguments with people for no reason on Twitter this weekend. But you know, we've all done it. I think the song was fantastic. Highly recommend going and checking this one out. IDK has actually been delivering at a really high level for a good 3 or 4 years now. In fact, one of the first times I heard him was on a track with Denzel Curry a few years ago. To be honest, I think both artists have really elevated their game since then. This one goes straight into good. It's knocking on the door of elite. It didn't quite get there, but maybe on future listens. And I'm really looking forward to this album. Right, one of the biggest releases of the week by a mile, it's that man Justin Bieber. His new track is called Honest with Don Toliver, who's really seen an upward trajectory over the last few years. This song doesn't do a great deal for me. I've heard it a bunch of times on the radio, and I've watched the video a couple of times, which is directed by Cole Bennett, and shout out to Cole Bennett, he's done amazing. I just don't really get it. It's kind of low-key, it's kind of sparse, it's kind of irritating, which I think is probably the most damning thing you can say about it. There are elements with the synths that I don't mind. Don Toliver, I think, does better on the track than Bieber. It doesn't showcase any of what Bieber is actually really good at with his voice and tone and all that sort of stuff. The video itself, listen, again, shout out Cole Bennett, but the video did my head in, man. There's a bit early on where Bieber just blows into a cup of coffee and it goes everywhere. And for some reason, it's just that's like the worst thing you can do with your day, where you accidentally blow into your coffee and it goes everywhere. I don't want to see that on video when I'm trying to enjoy myself, trying to enjoy the music. But yeah, the song is going to be one of those ones that's played a lot. I just thought it was bad, man. And every time I hear it, I keep expecting it to grow on me, and it's doing the opposite, which is a worry. So yeah, I wasn't fucking with this one, to be honest. Not for me, not for me. A surprise though, Lil Baby, an artist that I like as a feature, but rarely as a lead artist. His new track, Frozen, I'm going to put it in okay, but first time I heard it, I was just like, I just don't know if I like Lil Baby. But I stuck it on again, and I was like, okay, well, there's multiple flow patterns in here that I like, and while the beat doesn't do anything interesting, I think it suits the mood of the track quite well. I don't know if I'm ever going to be a huge Lil Baby fan, and I was trying to work out why, and it's something to do with the tone of his voice. Obviously, it's heavily auto-tuned most of the time. but the tone of his voice doesn't appeal to me in the same way that, say, another auto-tuned artist, Travis Scott or Future, does. It's literally might be the pitch of it. It might be something that simple. I think that's also why I quite like him as a feature artist, because when he comes in at that pitch, it offsets, not the rapper, but the tone of the song. It offsets the tone of the rest of the song and tends to work quite well. And when you really can tune into what he's saying, when he's intelligible enough, and I am getting better at that, he does have a lot of interesting things to say and a lot of heartbreaking things to say. But on multiple listens, this one started to grow on me. It wouldn't surprise me if this crept up into good in future weeks, but we don't do that. I don't do it for next week, so you'll never know. Rattling through them this week, the Arcade Fire, they've got a new album out this week. I think their last album with Win Butler as the lead singer, they got this new track. It's called Unconditional. Wow, it is one cheesy motherfucker. This is a song where it's almost got like Nardwar's thing in there, where he's going do 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 do. It's not actually that tune, but he's doing that. It's super cheesy. It's quite good though. I don't know. Like, if this was the first song I'd heard from a band, I don't know. I'm really torn on this one. I'm gonna put it into okay. If this is the tone for the whole album, I am worried. I would like something with a bit more substance, but at the same time, I found myself nodding my head to this track and kind of vibing to it. So yeah, I'm torn, but man, cheesy as fuck, dude, really. On a relatively similar vibe, Bieber Doobie's got a new track. I said that right? It's called See You Soon. Very 90s nostalgic, very kind of shoegazy. Not quite as upbeat as some of the rest of the music that I've heard from her. Reminds me of a lot of songs that you'd hear on the radio from when I was a teenager in the 90s, late 90s. It's a solid track, man. It's not one that really blows me away. It's going to go into okay for this week. It's alright. It's definitely worth a listen. I think she's got a new album coming out soon. I like the fact she's kind of committed to this kind of nostalgic vibe. It's, you know, it works as nostalgic music for me as somebody who's around then. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the new album, but this song wasn't something to really make you stand up and take notice. Alright, H has got a new one with Gigs. I like this track, man. It's H spitting. He's not just talking about getting laid. He does mention it a little bit. He does also give props to the Man City owner, which is a bit disappointing because I know he's a Red, but whatever. He does well on this track, kind of a sparse beat with a punchy snare, but then Giggs comes in and the shell levels just start to increase and increase and increase. It starts a little bit, no, not sure at first, but by the end of Giggs' verse, he has just spat absolute fire in the way that only the Hollow Man can. More of this from H will get me reconnected with him as an artist. I don't mind him doing his pop tracks that are going to get on the radio where he's talking about getting laid. As long as he's not just doing that and he's definitely getting back to spitting over interesting tracks with interesting artists, then I'll be a fan. Giggs, all-time legend in this country. That goes into good for me. And then finally this week we got Khalid with Skyline. Holy shit, this song sucks, dude. Oh my god. I watched the video. Not only is this the most banal, forgettable pop song, but the video, dude. Oh my god. It's like a combination of all the weakest TikTok dances, seemingly filmed where they film Teletubbies. I don't get the appeal at all. Obviously, he has a nice tone and timbre to his voice. There's not really in doubt about that sort of stuff. I personally never really connected with his music in the past, but this, to me, is way worse than anything else that he's ever put out. A real play for the mainstream, a real play for the pop charts. For some reason, though, he's wearing a cricket jumper in the video and on the cover, so that almost got a little boost, but no, Khalid Skyline, you're going into hell, I'm afraid. Track of the week, I'm going to give it to IDK and Denzel Curry Dog Food. Make sure you're checking that one out. Subscribe if you're new, and guys, I'll catch you all soon. Cheers!